And it's just around 10 o'clock around my watch. Do you want to start the meeting?
Mine, the computer says 9:58, so we'll wait a few more minutes.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. You on bar time or something?
It's always bar time.
Everybody buy their bump stocks?
Oh,
Don't even go there.
Oh my.
How can we get rid of these people?
voting.
Yeah.
Vote,
Vote.
Oh, I
vote,
mean,
vote,
on the
vote.
Supreme Court.
I know. Vote.
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 And maybe thoughts and prayers.
Yeah,
A few
Yeah.
thoughts, and
those
prayers.
can be helpful, but they're not the main thing for sure.
I think we should get that guy back who wrote It's Time to Fight Dirty. He wrote, he has a couple of chapters in that book on the Supreme Court and what we can do to change it.
Yeah,
I think it'd be great to have him back if he's around.
that's
Is
an.
it-
Did he do a sequel,
I don't know, Jim.
like How to Work the Refs or something like that?
That'd be good.
I haven't seen the sequel, but it was David Ferris, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. And my recollection was it was really expanding the Supreme Court
That was one of his things. Yeah.
fairly extensively, yeah.
And term limits.
Yeah, also
Yeah.
have each president could appoint like 2 people.
Oh,
And so there were built-in limits. He had several different ideas that were all viable if we really got behind him.
And one from each circuit.
Yes.
Right.
There's
Right,
13
that's-
circuits now.
Yeah, right.
And
I
think
have
they
the
get
book and-
18-year terms on them.
I'll leave the book at the office if anybody wants to check it out.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, that was a good
Mhm.
read. I enjoyed reading that
Mhm.
book.
Yeah, very readable too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a smart, good guy.
Yeah,
He's
We
in the
had
middle
him
of
here.
academia, though.
yeah. We had him here. He spoke at headquarters.
Right.
He's related to one of our Benzie residents and actually members, Keith Schneider. It's part of his family.
Oh.
Well,
That
let's
was a nice event.
let's get going. It's a minute after 10 o'clock. So, Jana, will you call the meeting to order and lead the pledge, please?
Okay. I call this meeting, this all Zoom meeting of the Benzie Dems to order, and we'll start with the pledge to the flag. And I even have a flag. So you have something to look at. So I
Alright.
pledge allegiance
Allegiance
to the
to the
flag
flag
of the United
of
States
the
of
States of
America
America,
and to the
to the
republic
republic
for which
for
it
which it
stands,
stands
one
one
nation,
nation,
Under
God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with
with liberty and
justice
justice
for all. Someday.
someday.
Okay, thank you all.
All right. Thank you, Jana. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Before we get going into the agenda, I just want to ask around, and you can just jump in and say it. We don't have to be formal here. What's your favorite outdoor spot in Benzie? What you think? What's a great place to go?
Point Betsy.
Point Betsy.
Point Betsy, okay.
Crystal
I have-
Lake.
Crystal Lake?
Mm-hmm.
I have
Okay.
one on the Betsy River and I'm not telling you where it is.
I'm the same way. I have a favorite spot and I'm not sharing it.
Lamb
My-
Road Natural Area Park.
All right.
my field behind the barn here at our property by the fire pit.
For me, it'd be anywhere on the Betsy River. We're avid kayakers.
Ah,
I have
Green
to say,
Point Hill,
what's that?
Where?
Green Point, out by Alberta.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
off 22 there, right?
yeah,
Mhm.
I actually like the new park that we opened in honor, and I admit I'm biased because I live here, but the new park is really lovely. So it's close to headquarters. If you haven't visited, please do so.
Yeah, that was a nice little ceremony they had. Okay, one more, and then we'll get going here.
This is Christy. I always enjoy the turnaround. Every time I'm in Frankfurt, I always go the turnaround. My husband wants to bypass it, and I stop him every time. And so now he'll say to me, "This one's for you, Christy," and around we go.
All right, get a good look at the lake, huh?
Yeah. Every time. Can't miss
All right.
it.
Yep.
Okay. Well, thank you for those great suggestions. I'll say mine is Old Indian Trail when there's great snow. That's my favorite place. All right. So first of all, in case you don't know, candidate roundup at 4 o'clock today at the tap room. It's going to be a really nice event. The tap room is such a great space. It's outdoors with they got a nice new tent and they move stuff around a little bit. Very, very cool place there. That's from 4 till 7. There's no admission. First drink is on us. Many of our 20 candidates will be there, and you can pump pause. You can give them money. You can ask them questions. You can find out how you can help them if you want to do that. But it's a great thing that we have this many people standing for election. It's just such an important thing. It really is. So to those of you who are here, who are running for office, and I can see 2 or 3 right here on the screen. I can see Ed, and I can see Christy, and maybe I'm missing somebody else, but thank you all so much for doing this. It's really a great thing. I just want to say generally about tonight's thing, and you're going to hear a number of gatherings that are coming up. We're having a very, very, very busy summer for obvious reasons. But maybe the less obvious thing I'd like to say about it is we need to remember we really need each other. This is going to be, in fact, it already is, very, very hard. I have great confidence that if we work hard, we're actually going to just swamp them. But everybody's got to work hard, and you have to just face off this huge storm of BS that's being thrown at us everywhere we look. And that's very draining, and we've been doing it for 7 years now, 7.5 years now, ever since the convicted felon got elected, and we need to stick together. So these gatherings are for a whole lot of reasons, but one of them is so we can get together and see each other and know that there's other people. We've got each other's back. We're hugging each other. We're working together. So please go to these things as much as you can. It'll help your head as well as it'll help our cause, okay? So just keep that in mind. We had a great postcard session about a week and a half ago. Kira, our vice chair, is out in Montana and can't be here today. She's with her grandkids. But she wanted me to tell you that the last postcarding session went really, really well. We had 14 people show up and fill out a bunch of postcards, write into them. And we have at least 2 more of those sessions coming up later this month. So if you're interested in postcards and you aren't part of the group that's doing that, put your name in the Zoom and your contact information, and we'll get right back to you. But it's really important work, and it's a lot of fun. We get together at headquarters, and everybody has a good time. So an event coming up, it's not really ours, but it is. There's going to be a debate, or they're calling it a forum, between Dr. Bob Lawrencer and Callie Barr, who are in a primary to run against Jack Bergman for the 1st congressional seat of Michigan. That is happening on June 26th at the Sheboygan Opera House. And there are a number of us already intending to go. We're going to drive over there. If y'all want to caravan with us, it'd be fun to have a nice showing of Benzie folks over there for that event. Please put your stuff in the chat, and we'll get with you, and maybe we can do a caravan over, or maybe not. But it's June 26th from 6 o'clock on. I think 6 till 7:30. We'll be back by back home before midnight, I'm sure. Maybe even catch the 11 o'clock news. Who knows? But that is coming up. Uh, Another thing that's coming up, you're the first to hear this pretty much. Dana Nessel is going to have a happy hour with us. Isn't that cool? It's going to be at headquarters. It's going to be on July 5th at 5 o'clock when all good happy hours are. And she'll be there. She'll talk a little bit about policy stuff, but she likes Benzie folks and she wants to hang with us. She's got family up here and she'll be here on July 5th. And so put that on your calendar. We certainly have something to say about July 4th. That's coming up in a little bit here. Okay. Also want to tell you, we did purchase a billboard. We're going to have a billboard for 8 weeks just outside of Honor on the way into Honor. And it will be one message for 8 weeks. We have to figure out what that message is. We're always looking for suggestions. That will be up from late September through early November, which is the window. That's when everybody's voting. So that's a good thing. It'll be up while people are voting. So keep that in mind. One of the many things your dues is helping to do. Another thing, no surprise, but I did want to tell you, the executive committee did vote to endorse Betsy Kofia for the 104th House seat in Michigan. Of course, it was unanimous. We were very proud to call her up and tell her that. She said, well, okay, if you do that, then I'm going to come to your candidate roundup. And so she'll be here tonight, we think, yes. And also membership. Listen, we've got good membership numbers, but they can always be better. We've got Pete Brown and others who call every month as memberships expire and say, please renew your membership, and we send you something to renew it. So we're asking you, make sure that when Pete calls you, you call him back or respond so that we can get our membership as high and as active and as strong as it can be for what's coming our way. Okay? So that's the membership, that's the, the chairmanship report. Okay, so.
Jim, I'm sorry. Can I interview just for a second?
Please.
I'm sorry. I just put in the chat an open invitation to everyone to come to a celebration of life for my wife, Nancy, who passed away after a 3-month battle with pancreatic cancer. And it's the information is there in the chat. I forgot to put the address in the main part, so I put the address in another comment down there. Just feel free to show up if you knew Nancy, if you want to come and support. We're all going to just share and listen to stories of Nancy's, hopefully funny stories. I'm sure there's a lot of funny stories people will have about her.
Yes, I'm sure
that's really well. She was a very sincere dog lover, animal rescue person, political activist. She was a union person for a long time. And I'm going to miss her a lot. And I hope I see some of you there. Thanks.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you very much. And of course, we all extend our condolences. I feel like I just didn't get to know her well enough. Just was really getting to know her, and then she left us. And what I saw, I really liked. So I know it's a huge loss for you. And thank you for hanging in there, man. I mean, sometimes people disappear when this happens, but you got to keep moving, right? All right. Okay, I don't think Karen Cunningham is here, so we're going to move past the county commission report and move right along to Chris Kitzman, who has a whole bunch of reports for us on a whole bunch of different things. If you don't know Chris, she is our office manager along with Michael Hertz. She's also our data queen and head of the nitty gritty data band. Did I say that right? And is just plays a very key role in our campaign committee too. So she's right at the center of things, and she's got quite a bit of news for us today. Chris, first, thank you for all you do, and second, what's up?
Thank you, Jim. I forgot to wear my crown today, apparently, but I did wear my bandana, so I'm ready for this afternoon. So, okay, first up on the office side of things, it's really starting to get busy in there, and it's exciting, and there's a lot going on. And I want to Send a shout out to Jan Klemp, our volunteer coordinator, for lining up some just dynamic group of desk staffers, all volunteers. They're there now Monday through Friday from 10 to 4, excuse me, and Saturday from 1 to 4. That's a change from previous years. We used to be open in the morning. Now we're open in the afternoon. And they're on the phone when people call in, they're greeting visitors. We sign people in. It's just going great. And that group itself there's a bunch of subs in addition to the folks who are scheduled. It's really a nice group. They're also spending time learning how to, there's a wealth of materials at the desk, so they're learning how to register voters and answer all those questions. There's all the ballot issues. There's a ton of ballot issues on the August primary. So they're helpful on those regards, doing a lot of odds and ends. So I love it. It's a happy place, and I invite you all to come and just hang out there. It's great. Another big news is we have just recently met our Michigan Democratic Party Regional Organizing Director. Her name is Danette. She is, we talked to you before about our office being a hub. It's one of 10 hubs in the state for the one campaign, essentially the Biden-Harris campaign, and a coordinating effort by the Michigan Democrats. And Danette is that director. She also has offices in Grand Traverse, or in Traverse City out of the Commons, and in Marquette. It's fascinating because I thought she had the region, our region, which is sort of like Bob Lorenzer's and Kelly Barr's region, the first congressional, which goes all the way up to the UP. No, hers starts in Oceana and goes all the way to the Keweenaw Peninsula. There are 40 counties in that region. So stop in and meet Danette. She's going to be in and out of our office, but she will be based there. And she's still looking for a field person to put in our office also. So if you know anybody, it's a nice job between now and November. It pays well. And it's really a great thing to do, particularly this year. So watch for that. She and I got together yesterday, and the one campaign is going to, excuse me, trying to get organized. I know the Grand Traverse Dems are going to do this, and a couple of the other ones are doing it. They're going to organize a watch party for the debate, the Trump-Biden debate, which ought to be quite fascinating. So we've done this before at our office when people have been doing that kind of thing. And Danette's going to work with me to organize that. So June 27th, from 8:30 to 10:30, if you're interested in some companionship while you're watching that debate and a little kibitzing afterwards, we are this close to organizing that. You'll hear a lot more about it, but I wanted to get it on your calendars if you did. So it'd be a fun place to watch it. And the cool thing is that the one campaign is going to spring for snacks for us. So it's not part of our budget. Yes. Okay. A watch party. Sounds like fun.
Just a brief correction.
Yeah.
The Yiddish pronunciation is kibitz.
Kibitz.
It's like
Thank
kibble
you.
with a
Ritz
B at the end.
Thank you so
Kibitz.
much, Michael. Anytime
Just
you want
saying.
to correct me, I'm down for it.
Your
That's
Yiddish
great.
lesson for today.
I appreciate that. He gives me IMAC lessons too, but that's another story.
Chris, did you say that was going to be at the office?
Yes. Yeah, and you'll hear a lot more about it. Okay, 8:30 to 10:30 that night. But that's in the planning works. So I am inviting you to all come, all the members on here, please stop in, and also please expect a call from Jan Klemp, or not from Jan Klemp, but her volunteer crew, about firing up and getting involved in the parade. That's another thing our desk staffers are going to do, is make calls to entire membership and say, hey, we want you out there on the 4th of July. So shifting to the data team work, that's been another very, very busy group. Basically taking on the actions of the campaign committee, which has been planning things since October. So we have two main focuses right now that we're starting with. One is to support all of our wonderful local 20 candidates, 20 Democratic candidates, in helping them get out to meet their voters. So we're doing voter outreach with them, providing them lists of voters, helping them with some scripts if they want it. Mike Ross and team are cutting turfs, which means designated little geographic areas in each township or in the county districts that are doable in a walk in a couple of hours so they can go knock doors. It's all about canvassing, and they're getting ready to do that after tonight. They'll be fired up to go do that. So we support them with all the kind of data needs that they need. Right now, they're starting basically with their known base voters to introduce themselves. I know you're a Dem. I hope you'll hang in there with me. Would you like to volunteer, and would you like a yard sign? Those kind of questions. The second focus is one the team came up with, which is the campaign committee, which is to really seek out people who are pretty likely Democrats but haven't voted for a while, infrequent voters. So just last night, and you'll hear more about this from Mike, we started sending canvassing teams out to talk with those folks in a different kind of canvassing called deep canvassing, which is much more like a conversation. It's really an exchange, trying to make a good connection with the voter. So that's happening, and that'll be going on. There are 544 of those people in our county who have not voted in a presidential election since prior to 2016, and we want them back. So we're going to be working with them over the next probably month or two. That's not to say that we're not going to be doing other canvassing and other phone calls and other pop-ups and other postcards. All of that requires the data team work, but that's all happening. One more thing I want to tell you, and then I'll get off the screen here. Another thing that the Michigan Democratic Party is doing is offering us help with a application called REACH. The implication is reach out to voters. It is an organizing tool, very grassrootsy organizing tool. It'll help, like if you wanted to download that on your computer or your phone, it would help you make connections through the voter files with friends, family, neighbors. You can look them up and have a conversation with them. The REACH tool also has just a whole bunch of pieces to it, but one of them is an action card that would actually pop up on your digital device that if you're in like line in a coffee shop, or if you're at the dog park, or if you're at the farmer's market and you run into someone and have a good conversation with another Democrat, or someone that you're trying to bring along a little bit to the cause, there are some tools in there that you can look at, just some ideas about scripts, you can text them back, you can email them back. There's some sample information in there to do that sort of friend to friend outreach or family to family member outreach. I think it could be a neat thing. It's very user friendly. And we're going to have, they will train our party. So stay tuned if you're interested. You can put, just indicate your interest in REACH in the chat. But we're also going to set up a session on June 25th at 6 p.m. And that'll be a Zoom session, so you can log in and it's an overview of that. So if you want to learn more about it, stay tuned. I'm sure Jim will get an e-blurb out on it. But I think it sounds like sort of a neat thing that we can all do. You don't have to be canvassing, you don't have to be phoning, but you can be reaching out to voters, and possibly we'll find a lot of people that haven't been involved. So it's a neat little tool, and I would truly encourage you at least to check it out and see if it's a good fit for you. That's it for now. That's me. That's busy, but it's good fun.
It is busy, Chris. Does anybody have any questions for Chris about all her different things? Berta?
I do. So is this REACH campaign, is this for calling people, emailing people? How are you reaching out to connect with other voters?
Texting people, calling people, emailing people. Yes, it does it all.
Wow.
Thank you.
Great. Any other questions? Okay, great. Moving right along here. Chris mentioned deep canvassing. Mike Ross, those of you who are newer to the party don't know that Mike has been absolutely pivotal to all of our canvassing efforts over the years. He not only cuts turfs, he calls people and gets them to show up, and is just, we would be far, far behind where we are right now if we didn't have the kind of work from Mike Ross that we get from him on a regular basis. So Mike, thank you very, very much for what you do. And why don't you tell us a little bit about the deep canvassing training that happened a couple weeks ago and how things went last night. Go ahead. You might be, can't hear you. I think you're muted.
First of all, thank you for that way over the top introduction. I just do what I can do, but we went out last night and it was kind of a soft rollout of the deep canvassing. We had 4 teams go out last night. We always try to send 2 people in a car, and we got a start. And we met afterwards, and the report was that from everybody that it went well, and they actually seemed to enjoy it. You know, canvassing sounds like, you know, a lot of slam doors and grief, but it isn't. You know, it's generally pretty pleasant, and at least if they don't agree with you, everybody is generally friendly. We got thanked for doing it last night. Anyway, we're generally going to try to set up a regular schedule of canvassing on Saturday about 11 o'clock. I'm thinking, you know, early morning into maybe 2 o'clock, 2:30. And then on Wednesday night from 3 o'clock to about 6:30. The deep canvassing that we are doing right now does take a little bit longer. Jim mentioned that it's a conversation, and Chris also. So you are just trying to get the voter to do most of the talking, and that's what happened last night. We can always use more people. We've got quite a good list going, but we don't want to burn anybody out. And you know, we had that problem a number of years ago. And so if you are at all inclined to either drive or go to the door yourself, please put some information in the chat. Oh yeah, last night we had both people go to the door, and that was that worked well because we got to hear each other talk and exchange ideas a little bit. So anyway, that's about all I have right now. And I would love to have a few more people sign up and join the group. Thank you.
If I could add to that from the data collection point of view, I mean, yes, we're looking at a conversation, and the deep canvassing right now is trying to get people to get out and vote. That script will change as it progresses over this summer, and it's very flexible. But for those of you who've done it before or who might be thinking about it, there are a couple different ways to do it. We used to use paper and write down everybody's responses on paper called walk sheets, and we will still do that if that's what you're comfortable with. But there's also a phone app now, digital, you know, age, that directly enters the responses into the database that we use to pull our lists of voters. And it's really slick, and it's really user friendly. So you can walk away from the door as you go back to your car and enter all the data, and bang, it's in there. And it's truly helpful for our team. So if you're thinking about doing it and you have a smartphone, let Mike know that you'd be interested in doing it that way too. So we can accommodate anybody in any way, but I really highly recommend that one.
And we have a question from the chat. Somebody asked it, once canvassers get their turf, can they canvass anytime?
Yes. especially if they have a, you know, a cell phone and do the minivan, it will retain the data until you are ready to sync it. Actually, it syncs as you go along, but you have to be at a spot that you have internet to actually sync the data or send it. But it will retain it in your app, so you can do it pretty much anytime.
We like going out as a group just to get some psychological momentum going, and but you don't have to do that. It's a good place to start, though.
Yeah, it was very good last night. Good camaraderie.
Great.
I'd just like to add, I did it last night and with my partner, and I would encourage anybody to do it because I think this is the way to go. People vote based on emotions. And we saw a lot of emotions yesterday, you know, different directions, but I think it isn't so much, you know, here are the facts, you know, Biden did this, Biden did that. It's more an emotional decision, I think, for a lot of people. So I think that's what this program gets to. So I think it's an important piece of your outreach.
That's great, Sue. You are new to us. Have you done anything like this before, or did you just jump in?
No, I've never done anything like this before. And I was really happy to see that I wasn't just going out and giving people brochures and, you know, a card or whatever it is that people drop off at your house, you know, because most of that just, a lot of it ends up in recycling. You know, if they're not on your side, they're not on your side. This is taking people who are kind of unsure and giving them a reason to be on your side because it comes from them. You're not giving them the reason's coming from them. And I think it's a great concept. They actually talked about it one morning on Face the Nation. It was a couple of weeks ago, excuse me, where a couple of different states are starting to do this deep canvassing. And it takes time. And it isn't probably for the people who are totally decided one way or the other, but it is for those people. And as we know, this is a swing state. So it is for those people who are not sure. And I think it's very effective.
Thank you,
Jim. That's great.
Jim?
Yes.
It's Bill Haggard. If you are interested and were unable to be at the training on the 1st of June, it was recorded and there are jump drives in the office that you can check out and watch.
Oh, the training, yeah.
Yeah, Bill, thank you that was yeoman's work by you. You recorded the whole thing and then edited it. And a couple people who couldn't make it asked that we did that. We do that, and Bill did that. So that's great. Any other comments about the canvassing? Alan?
Yes, I was out there last night and it was surprisingly enjoyable. The list of people we visit are on the bench, sitting on the sidelines or on the benches, and they're not really committed yet. We encountered no one was hostile except one of the dogs that I encountered did not approve of my message, so I cleared out of that yard pretty fast. But basically, it was very interesting. So in the past, I've been on campaigns or canvassing where we weren't that selective. We kind of took a hit and miss on the VNP campaigns, but this one we're selecting a more amendable, a more amicable group than we have in the past, and I think it's going to pay off. I really do.
Excellent. Any other comments? These are great comments. I just have to say a couple of things then. If nobody else. Okay, then I'm just going to say two things. Number one, this warms the cuckolds of my heart, and to do that for all of us, because the whole thing is, and it's been said for a long time. I remember Obama saying it when he was running for office. You got to go out and talk to people. That's what you got to do. And there's so much that works against that right now in how our culture and how our technology and how our economy and everything works. It makes it really hard to talk to people. Remember when you used to walk down the street and you would stop somebody and ask them for directions? Well, that doesn't happen anymore. People are doing this, and
Yeah.
I think that phrase, the social fabric, stuff like that. So getting out there and actually talking to people is so important. And we've been trying to get this to happen here in Benzie Dems for a long time. And it's happening now. And it almost makes me weep with joy, I have to say. Seriously. Seriously. And the other thing I'll say is that with all the stuff that we're seeing that's going on, all the disgusting behavior we're seeing at the national and the state level, and in some instances, the local level, there are a lot of people out there who are pulling away from the Republican Party and are looking for a new home. And it might be us. And it's really up to us to keep our hearts open and keep the dialogue open and be available for those people. And deep canvassing, that's kind of at the root of it. You're not going in with an attitude about it's this way or it's that way and which are you. It's more, how do you feel about things and can we talk about that? Because there's so much bad stuff happening in the country and it's making everybody crazy. So this is a way to deal with and use that. So it's wonderful. So thanks to all of you. Thanks to Mike and thanks to the data team and thanks to the canvassers. This is going to carry us, folks. This is going to carry us through the summer and into the fall. And if we work hard, I think we will be amazed at the results, not just in Benzie, but across the country.
Thanks to Chris also for setting up turfs. Thanks to Chris for setting up turfs with the walk sheets and the dialogue. And also Paul Markson has stepped up and he's helping me with kind of running these walks or being at the office on the nights or the days that we have walks. So thanks to Paul too.
Great.
I'd just like a semi-related note. I'd just like to get in that I have a preview of the ballot as a candidate. They sent it out, and Bergman is being primaried by somebody named Josh Saul and a J.D. Wilson.
Huh. Yeah.
I don't know anything about these people, but the being unknown entities, I wonder if we, sometimes you prefer the known entity. I don't know how that's going to go. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks. Moving right along here now to our next part. Mike, neither Barry or Lindsay is here, so could you talk about Thompsonville very briefly and what's going on with the pop-ups? I don't think you know the pop-up schedule, but you can talk about Thompsonville.
Well, for a number of years, we have been, Benzie Dems have been helping Thompsonville with a couple of projects. They have a annual summer fest, and it's a little family-friendly gathering where anybody that wants to set up a table is able to do that. Basically, social services available, community action groups, those kinds of people show up. And it's this coming Monday, June 17th, from 4 to 7, I believe. No, 6. The actual thing is from about 6 to 8. But they have free food, hot dogs, chips, beverages. I guess they've got a bounce tent and they've got old time music and so forth. We could use a couple people to help take down the event at about 8 o'clock in the evening. But anyway, if you haven't been there before, it's fun and interesting.
And Jim, one of the things that we love about you is what a great team you've put together. And guess what? Just this morning, Jan Klemp got in touch with Lindsay Ross and found out everything we need to know about pop-ups. And she's here today to let this whole group know about it. So we can hear a little bit from Jan.
Excellent.
See, we work even when you don't know it.
That makes sense. Go ahead, Jen.
Briefly, there will be more pop-ups, but the ones that have been scheduled so far are starting this Monday, Thompsonville from 6 till 8. And then the second one coming up will be the Beulah Art Fair, Saturday, July 6th. And then the Beulah Sidewalk Sale on August 3rd, another Saturday, time to be decided. And then we're also going to be a presence at the in Traverse City at the Northwestern Michigan Fair, and that's August 6th. And I'll put all this in the chat unless you guys are taking notes. You're not going to remember what I just said. In any case, there will be more pop-ups, and we would like to invite any candidates that are at all interested in, showing up at the pop-ups or sitting with us and talking to folks. That'd be great. But Lindsay Ross would be the one to contact about letting us know that you'll be there as a candidate. And I'm just going to repeat what Mike asked for. We are looking for somebody to help take down our table or whatever needs doing in Thompsonville at about 8 o'clock.
Yeah, go ahead.
What's that?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Great, Jen. Thank you very much.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Jim, just a second. Sorry, I was talking to my grandson. I put the pop-ups that are now scheduled up on one of the sheets at headquarters when I was over there the other day. So if you're in and out of there, you can see the schedule as well.
Thank you, Greta.
Greta, are they on the website yet?
No, they are not.
Okay.
Okay, great. Thank you. The pop-ups are going to be fun. We've got a bunch of them. We just heard from the Jam and Monday people over at Alberta on Mondays. Great concert series through the summer. They're fine with us being there. We'll set up over by the kids area, but we're going to be around this summer for sure. Okay, speaking of being around this summer, Jane Wild, will you please tell us about the parade, which is a very big and very cool deal. Jane?
Hello. The 4th of July parade is our absolute largest presence in the county each year. And obviously we all know how important this year is. We need 85 people for each parade. We can easily accommodate more if more people want to show up. We want a huge showing of young and old. Bring your family, your friends, your neighbors, as long as they've got, our values. And it's going to be really fun. I'm working up a list of, X amount of volunteers that I'll need. And thank goodness Jan and her gang are going to be making all these phone calls, because in the last couple of years, Susan and I called a lot of people. It took a long time. So thank you volunteers for taking that off of us. That's amazing. And so all of the items and props are complete. They've all been handmade. And basically you just need to show up and be prepared to smile. And even when they start chanting, "Let's go, Brandon," whatever they do, we're going to smile and we're going to wave. And I do notice a lot of the MAGAs seem to prefer Happy Independence Day than Happy 4th of July. We've got some, I think, pretty darn good giveaways. And so I will have an organized list for Jan and company by Monday morning, the latest. And so basically we just need the people. We need the bodies. Just show up. If you've got blue, wear it. If not, whatever, and we've got blue swag and stuff, but we are going to make a joyful noise for democracy, and joyful it will be. It's going to be bigger than we've ever had, than perhaps Benzie County has ever had, because you and me and your cousins and your grandkids and your neighbors, we're going to turn Benzie blue.
Yeah.
Please. And you will be getting phone calls soon by wonderful volunteers giving you more specifics. And, please show up. There's the morning parade, there's the afternoon parade. It's a lot of people do both. It's really fun. There will be plenty of seating. If anybody needs seating, thank you to the Rev and Nathan for being our drivers of the float. And speaking of which, we do have a backup trailer, but we really feel like we need a bigger one this year. So if anyone knows of, we're like, the dream would be 12 to 16-foot landscaping utility trailer. And if you know of, if you have one, or if you know of someone who would lend it to us for, a couple of days, we need like, at least a day before the parade to get it ready and practiced out on the truck and everything. And that would be greatly appreciated. I will put my contact info in the box. And if you have any interest in anything related to the parade, reach out, please.
Jane, is Dana Nessel gonna join us at the parade on the 4th?
That's a question for Jim Dolso.
We have not heard. I kind of think she will, because looks like she's going to be here July 5th. So, and she sure rocked out last time. That was astonishing. So I hope she's with us, but I can't tell you. I don't know. We'll see.
And lovely Susan Koenig, my partner in crime.
Here I am. Am I muted or am I live?
You're good. We hear you.
Okay. Yeah, Dana was great last year. Okay, from me, I've registered us in the parades. I guess Jane told me that we're calling our entry Democrats Deliver, which is okay.
But Susan, we can talk about that later. We'll talk about.
We're not going to talk about that now.
Okay.
Simply stated, everything is the same in terms of the time. The first parade is in Frankfurt, for those of you who are new to this, and we line up. Well, they say 9, I say 9:30 because it takes so long to get it going. And if you know Frankfurt at all, it's behind the what do you call that building? It's right at the corner of 115 and Forest Avenue.
Graceland Fruit by A&W.
Yeah, Graceland Fruit. So you can parking there, you have to be careful and stay out of the way of all the floats. But anyhow, you go there and then there'll be a person to tell you what number we have on the main drag there. And the parade route will be the same as it was last year, which is to go down Main and turn right at the end and come back on Forest. And then I can tell you all this later and we can put it into chats, or we'll just have the instructions, and Jan, who's doing a great job, she can inform everybody. So the next parade, then you have to chill and relax and have some lunch, and then you have to go back to Beulah and then line up behind the government center. And that lineup is at 1 o'clock for a 1:30 parade. And that parade is shorter, but it's still a bit of a walk. So last year it was tough because it was so hot. So you may want to be sure you have some kind of a hat and bring water. And or if you feel you can't do a long hot walk, you'll want to ride on this trailer that we're hoping to get. And what else do I tell you? I have instructions from all the powers that be, but nothing really is different that I can see from any other year. They want us to gather at a central gathering place. Well, that's a little difficult. Just go find the float in either case. And there will be people with clipboards who you'll just say the Democrats and they'll give you a number, and then you go park and find that number. So we'll put all this information at headquarters. Is there anything else we need to cover?
If you or your loved ones or someone that wants to participate is unable to walk or gets tired or whatever, there will be plenty of seating arrangements in this trailer that we need to get. But we'll get it. We'll get it.
In the chat, Amy Farah said that they have a large trailer, and she's also offering up her pistol of a 100-year-old mother who's a rabid Dem. So
oh yeah, her
check with
mother's
Amy
amazing.
about both of those opportunities.
Awesome.
Great.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. We'll have much more about the parade coming up. It's already on your calendar because it's July 4th. And if there was ever a year we're going to think, well, maybe I'll try the parade, this is the year to try the parade. Okay. Okay. Last and certainly not least, and thank you, Jessica, for your patience. We have Jessica Gardner here, who's actually a Benzie Dem, and she's also very associated with the Benzie bus. And she wants to talk to us about the millage that's coming up on August 6th.
Yes, thank you so much. Excuse me. I'm really happy to be here to talk about this today. I am the chair of the Friends of Benzie Bus, which, because Benzie Bus is a government organization, they can't do their own campaigning for the millage, or in support of the millage. They can run an educational campaign, which they are doing on their website at benziebus.com/millage, MILLAGE. You can get lots of information there, but the Friends of the Benzie Bus committee we're the ones who can get out and tell people to vote yes in support of the millage, and that's what I'm here to do today. I will also be at the event tonight, so I'm going to keep this really short. I hope that you all know that the Benzie Bus has a millage question on the August 6th ballot. The millage question is to create, I've just completely forgotten the words. It is a new increased millage of 1.0 mils. What this means is right now, Benzie Bus has a millage of 0.5 mils. That millage expires next year. So Benzie Bus has to go back on the ballot to renew their funding. And what they have found is that their ridership has increased really significantly since COVID. Thank you so much, Michael, for putting the link to the millage information into the chat. Benzie Bus has found that their ridership has grown exponentially since COVID. Just in the first 5 months of this year, ridership is up 14% over last year. And last year was up significantly over 21, and 21 was up significantly over 20, which, I mean, that's an easy given that it would be up over 2020, because not too many people were riding the bus during COVID, since we were all stuck at home. But in addition to their ridership increasing, their operating costs have also gone up significantly. Since 2019, the cost to operate the bus have gone up 38%. So Benzie Bus is going out for this 1 mil millage. And what they're going to do when that passes in August, they're going to do 3 things. One, they're going to be able to maintain their current level of service. And for those who don't know, Benzie Bus has 24 buses that run 15 routes, plus medical rides, plus the Crystal Lake Express every day. The Crystal Lake Express doesn't run every day, but the medical rides run many days a week. That's the first thing that they'll do. The second thing that they will do is that they are going to expand their non-emergency medical rides. So some of you may have taken this service up to Munson in Traverse City for dialysis or cancer treatments, or maybe you needed to go to a doctor here in Benzie County or down at Manistee. I know that I took it a couple of summers ago when I had major foot surgery and I wasn't allowed to drive and I didn't have anybody to take me to Traverse. So the Benzie Bus took me to Traverse to my doctor's appointment. They waited and they brought me home, and it was really wonderful. So that's the second phase of what they're going to do with the expanded millage funds. And then the third phase is that they're going to expand their service hours. And what that means is that they will offer later evening services Monday through Saturday nights. They're going to add more routes Monday through Saturday. And the important key thing about these expanded hours at night is that this will be a really big benefit to shift workers. So folks who work at the hospital, folks who work in hospitality, they'll be able to take the Benzie Bus home from work, which is a really great thing. They will eventually, yes, Jana, they will eventually be expanding their airport service. I don't know if they'll be able to get you to a 6 a.m. flight, but I know that that's one of the things that they're looking at. The last phase of their service expansion is to add Sunday services. And this is they've really thought out this whole plan. It's a multi-year plan that'll take place between 2025 and 2027. So I'm really excited to ask you to support the Benzie bus to support their millage proposal. For those of you who don't know, the Benzie bus takes many kids to school every day because of the school of choice opportunities that we have here in Michigan. So they transport kids from Thompsonville to Frankfort, and from Frankfort and Benzonia out to Betsy Valley School. I rode the bus the other day and was really quite surprised by the number of kids that we picked up. I think we picked up 22 kids that day, and that was just on one bus route, and brought them from Thompsonville to Frankfort, and then picked more kids up in Frankfort and Benzonia and took them out to Betsy Valley. It also provides transportation for after school activities, takes people to and from work. There are a lot of people in our community who can't drive for whatever reason, but because of the Benzie bus, they're still able to go to their jobs at Save-A-Lot or at Graceland Fruits or at Crystal Mountain. And that helps them because they're not having to rely on, so much government assistance or support from Bacon, because they're able to get out and work and contribute to the economy. One stat that I'm going to leave you with is that, and then I'm going to be done because I know that we're over. Between 2021 and 2022, the use of the Crystal Lake Express, which is that Friday and Saturday night service that will pick you up at, say Storm Cloud and take you home, or, wherever you are, they'll take you home throughout the county. That ridership increased 45% between 21 and 22. What's interesting is that in the same time period, 21 to 22, DUI arrests in this county dropped by 34%. That's saving lives.
Wow.
It's keeping
Yeah,
drunk
that's
drivers
wonderful.
off the road. It is saving lives all around. So that's why Benzie Bus is important to our community. It's keeping everybody safe and healthy and giving our seniors independence, helping parents. So I just ask that you support Benzie Bus. Thanks, Jana, for your really kind comments about how great of a service it is. And so I will see you all this afternoon at 4:00 and can answer your questions and take your donations. And yeah.
Jessica, before you go, could I ask, in your ballot language, it talks about this being an additional new millage.
Oh,
it makes it sound like it's on top of what already exists.
It's not. So thank you for that. I meant to clarify that at the beginning. So right now they have a millage that's 0.5 mils. That is expiring in 2025.
Okay.
The 1.0 mils will not even go into effect until 2026.
Oh, okay.
So the lawyers required that the language that they use is it's new additional. It's a new millage and it is increased over the 0.5, but the total that anyone will be paying is just 1 mil. And this actually, they have figured out that this will cost the average homeowner just about 35 cents a day.
Just, I would maybe put that somewhere in public, what you just said, so people understand, because myself and a few others have already, we saw it in the paper, I see it on your website. I think many people will might misunderstand that.
Okay, I will make sure that we do a better job of clarifying that. Thank you so much for asking the question.
Yeah, because in the paper, they had your ballot language, but then Colin said it replaces it in another article in the paper. So it seemed to be contradictory. So thank you.
Well, it will replace the current
I understand.
millage because the current one is expiring.
Right. I understand. It was just confusing. One sounded like it was additional. One sounded like it replaced. From what you said, now I understand.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Great. Well, thank you, Jessica. And thank you for being such a community-minded person and being on that
welcome.
board. That's great.
welcome.
I have to tell you, we miss you on the executive committee, and someday we want to get you back.
I miss you too. It's been a whirlwind of a year and a half.
I'm sure it has. I'm sure it
It
has.
has. Yeah.
Okay, well, that brings us to the end of our agenda. Is there anything anybody else wants to throw in before we get out of here and give you a Saturday midday and to get your work done or whatever, so you can join us at 4 o'clock over at the tap room? Anybody else got anything they want to say?
One thing.
I'm sorry. Just a reminder that volunteers, we're going to start setting up at 3 o'clock. You get a blue bandana. I know we've got a bunch of people. There'll be food, and I apologize for talking over Mike.
I don't know. No. I was just gonna say our next canvassing is this Wednesday at 3 o'clock, and anybody that would like to join us and experience that, we will have a orientation, and we'll talk and work out what we're going to do for as long as you need, and then we will go out for a couple hours. So
I just
show
have
up
one
at
more
3 o'clock.
thing. Sorry, I just have one more thing I wanted to say, and that is that please follow our Facebook page at facebook.com/vote yes for Benzie Bus.
Okay, well, with that, going once, going twice. Okay, great. That's it. It's telling me my internet connection is unstable, so I'm going to get out of here.
You better hire somebody to come fix that.
Yeah, really, Jim. Come on.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jim.
So, thank you all.
Counseling, Jim.
See you this
later.
afternoon.
Thanks, everybody. See you soon.
Later.
All right.
Thank you.
Everybody talk up this evening in the next few hours. Let's get as many people there as possible.
Yep.
Yep, these people are putting it all on the line. Least we can do is show up for their party. Let's do
Jim,
that.
thank you for all you do.
Oh, it's my
It's
pleasure.
amazing.
It's such a great group of people that we're working together with. It's just wonderful. But you're welcome.
Later.
See you tonight.
See you tonight.
Tonight.